Dominic here, and it's just going to be you and me today. Before we get into the episode, a couple of minutes on my road to recovery with Lyme disease. This week, I passed a major milestone. I finished my 17th and final treatment for Lyme disease, which took place over the course of 2 months, driving out to the New York Center for Innovative Medicine on Long Island many times per week, getting alternative medicine treatments to eradicate Lyme disease from my system. Physically, I am not feeling any different than I have been for the last 5 or 6 months, which is to say, a lot of ups and downs, many bouts of anxiety, tired, fatigued, frustrated, not focused. And today you're catching me on a particularly low energy day. But on a deeper level, I feel that in completing these treatments, and the track record of the center is impeccable, that I am on the path to recovery. And they said that it could take a full month after the treatments have stopped to even start to feel the positive physical benefits of it. So I'm just surrendering into the timeline of this process, and I can feel on some energetic level that some things are shifting. I can feel a lot going on in my body. And I hope and I imagine and I believe that it's the medicine doing its work. And if this disease has been in my system for a decade or longer, which is very likely, then it's going to take time to unravel that. So I want to thank all of you men who have been so compassionate, who have been reaching out, that this is going to continue to be a long journey, but a big milestone on that journey of completing my treatments has been finished. And I went all in on that, guys. So thank you for your love. And let's get into today's episode. Hey, this is Dominic, and this is your home for the cutting-edge conversations on optimizing your personal performance, lighting up your sex life, and living a purpose-driven life of your own design.
These are the topics that Dominic and I have both struggled with in our own lives and still don't always get right. This is Brian. Welcome to the Great Man Podcast.
It's hard to trust the man who's sitting on the sidelines of his own life. I'm talking about the man who doesn't go for 100% of what he wants. And if I'm going to be honest, I'm talking about the man that I used to be for many years of my life. And if you're going to be honest, I'm talking about you. At least in some area of your life where you're sitting on the sidelines, afraid to get into the arena. Let's be honest about that. It's tough to trust the man who is sitting on the sidelines because he doesn't have the confidence in himself to get into the arena. It's tough to trust the man sitting on the sidelines because he doesn't have the discipline to commit to something, to follow through and to see it done when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when he's exhausted. It's hard to trust the man who's sitting on the sidelines because quite often he doesn't even know what he wants out of life or in a particular area of his life without direction. Would you follow a leader like this who doesn't have confidence, who doesn't have direction, who doesn't have the discipline or the ability to commit and see something through? But most of all, the reason why it's hard to trust the man who's sitting on the sidelines of his own life is because he doesn't trust himself. He doesn't trust that he knows what he wants because he's gone after things in the past and maybe have gotten those things and it turned out to be underwhelming. He doesn't trust himself to go after something and fail and to pick himself back up. He doesn't trust himself to go after the thing that he wants and then to be criticized, to be knocked down, and to have the resiliency to get back up stronger. It's hard for a woman in relationship to trust a man who is on the sidelines of his own life because this man is chronically dissatisfied with the quality of life that he's living. And over time, that dissatisfaction becomes corrosive to a relationship. When a man's not clear on what he wants, when a man doesn't know how to get into the arena or believe in himself to get into the arena and to go after it, then on some level, he never feels true to himself. And it chips away at his confidence. And that level of discontent and dissatisfaction with his own life seeps out into his relationship. And she can't trust you. That depolarizes a relationship because now she has to keep her guard up. She can't trust your leadership, not fully. She always has to question. And one of the things that the feminine truly desires from the masculine is protection. Not always physical protection, that's a part of it, but this emotional protection of, are my emotions safe here? Am I safe with this man? Because he's clear that he is playing the game of life full out. And if he's not, his dissatisfaction could lead to cheating. His dissatisfaction could lead to an outburst. His dissatisfaction could lead to substance abuse, pornography, getting up one day and just quitting the job and leaving us in a lurch. Boom, the feminine's guard goes up. And that depolarizes a relationship. It's hard to trust this man. I was this man for many years of my life. From the age of 22, when I graduated University of Richmond, go Spiders, to the age of about 30 when I took my first steps in the inner work journey, those 8 years, I was as on the sidelines of a life as my life as you could possibly be. But I could have fooled you because in a handful of areas, I was in the arena, business being one of them. I worked for Prudential, big insurance company, did really well, applied myself there, got a promotion, early young VP, ran a lucrative sales territory, made good money, set myself up. From the outside looking in, things were good. But in the other areas of life that contribute to a deep sense of self-satisfaction, I was as timid as you could imagine, timid as you could be. I've shared with you in previous episodes that my biggest fear for many years of my life was rejection from women. You could undress me on a stage. I could go blank, take my pants off, whatever, show up naked by accident. Those dreams that people have. I could handle that. Being rejected by a woman that I truly desired was the thing that scared the shit out of me. That I didn't trust myself to face that kind of rejection because it could have annihilated me. That was my belief. So what did I do? I never truly went for the women that I desired. Not 100%. And instead, I went for the women that I knew I could get. And I ended up wasting their fucking time. They could feel it. They couldn't put their finger on what it was, but they could all feel in the relationship with me that there was something about my inability to give them 100% because I wasn't in it 100%. And they were confused. They were sad. They were heartbroken. And I wasted their time. And I wasn't even aware enough to be honest with myself around who I was and how I was showing up. I couldn't face the fact that I wasn't in the arena. And so I would always find a reason that there was something wrong with them. Break up, move on, repeat the cycle. I remember for many years of my life that I'd get dragged to bars and clubs on Friday nights and get drunk and buy bottle service and black out and do things that I regret, hanging out with people that really didn't know anything about me or really even have a desire to get to know about me. And maybe on some level, I didn't have the desire to get to know them. But it was what was available to me. It's what everyone did on Friday, Saturday nights. Wasted a lot of money. Wasted some of my health. Wasted a lot of Saturday and Sundays. Didn't question it. Dissatisfied. Don't remember pretty much any of it. It wasn't anything memorable to remember. So for many years, those 8 years of my life, while I was building financial security, doing well at work, I was lost and discontent. And that's why women couldn't trust me in relationship. That's why I never got off the sideline to do the things that I really wanted to do. I would sit. This is another thing about the man who's sitting on the sidelines of his own life. Brian talked about this in one of our recent podcasts. He either becomes a critic or a total fanboy. The guy who's sitting on the sidelines, watching the men in the arena or the others in the arena competing for the things that they want, can criticize to knock that person down so that you don't feel as poorly about yourself for not being in there too, going after it. To even the playing field. Because in this game of comparison, which so many of us do, which is the thief of joy, right? Comparison is the thief of joy. The guy in the arena must be better than me, so I'm going to pedestal him. That makes me feel really shitty, but I'm going to criticize him so I can knock him down to size. And now we're on the same level and I feel better about myself without ever doing a damn thing about the thing that I truly want. Just getting into the arena and going after what I want. Or sit there on the sidelines and become a fanboy and applaud and cheer and become a devotee of the person who's out there doing the thing and how great they are and living vicariously. I've been there before too. Sitting in countless audiences, paying big bucks to go watch the Tony Robbins of the world or the Joe Dispenzas of the world or the Vishen Lakianis. Some of these names may not be familiar to you, but in my world, they're huge. To become fanboys of these people who are doing such exceptional things and somehow believing that that space is so rarefied that it only belongs to them, that it couldn't possibly belong to me. And by creating that story in my head, that there's only room for a few of these special souls, and in this lifetime, I'm not one of them, allowed me off the hook of not going after what I truly wanted, which was being a voice of change and inspiration for men. A few weeks ago, I read to you The Man in the Arena by Theodore Roosevelt. I want to read it to you again. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know nor victory nor defeat. The definition of hell is that at the end of your life, the man that you became meets the man that you could have become. And the man that you became only happens when you remain on the sidelines. And the man that you become, the great man within, only happens when you're stepping into the arena. It's why we love the story of Rudy Rudiger, the 5'0" 100 walk-on at Notre Dame, the most prestigious football program in the world, who got his ass kicked by men twice his size every single day, who earned the entire team's respect and the coach's respect, and eventually got on that field, sacked the quarterback, got carried off the field on their shoulders. And I believe to this day, there's been no other player in Notre Dame history who's been carried off the field on the team's shoulders. Rudy Rudiger was a man who went after 100% of what he wanted. And he got made fun of. He got physically beaten, emotionally beaten. But he's the guy who movies are made about. There is something in your life that you want to go after, and you're sitting on the sidelines for it. And it's time to ask yourself, what are you not being honest with yourself about? There's a reason you're sitting on the sideline. There's something that you're not being honest about, whether it's how scared you are, whether it's how much you really want it, whether it's how much you might have to give up to go get it, how many things might have to change to go after it. But if you really, truly sit with what you desire long enough, you'll come to realize that there's no way that that thing is going to go away, that you have to go after it. And that the way to find out who you are, to become the man who you trust, is by going after the things that you truly desire. And here's the kicker, guys. Success isn't measured by getting 100% of what you want. You can't control the outcome. Success is measured by going for 100% of what you want. And you can always control giving it 100%, knowing what you want 100%, and getting into the arena over and over again to build your resiliency. And one last point on this. The man who sits on the sidelines of his own life is almost always the lone wolf. Because there is a 0% chance when you have brothers who are in the foxhole with you, a 0% chance they will allow you to stay on the sidelines. They're the ones who are in the arena, and they're dragging you in whether you like it or not. And when they know what it is that you want, they will never stand for you going after a B when what you want is an A. They will never stand for you settling for 70% when what you want is 100%. The lone wolf doesn't have to account to anybody. When you have a trusted group of brothers and your commitment to each other is to go after 100% of what you want, then the sidelines are not a place that you ever sit ever again. In the next month, I'm going to be running a 90-minute live masterclass on going for 100% of what you want. So if this topic that we just talked about today inspired you and you want to learn how to go for 100% of what you want, get off the sidelines and into the arena of the most important areas of your life, that's a masterclass you're going to want to attend. This is a topic that two of the masterminds that I'm running right now, we're doing a 90-day journey on. And I'm going to be distilling down the most potent concepts and hard-hitting facts into this 90-minute masterclass for you. You don't have to attend live, so you'll be able to purchase the masterclass. You can download it, watch it on your own time. But it's also a great opportunity if you want to mix it up with some of the men in the community. If you also want me to see you, there's going to be a chance to have some Q&A and see you with your questions and shine a light on you in the community. This is going to be an opportunity for you. The best way to be notified about this masterclass is to sign up for my free daily texts. And I'm going to link that at the top of the show notes. Very easy to get on it. If you guys love the podcast, I send these little bite-sized nuggets of wisdom, like tweet-sized topics of masculinity, purpose, what women want, optimal habits, everything we talk about on the show to keep you anti-drift, right? To keep you drift-free and stay connected to this work. 1,100 people are already getting these daily texts, and it's growing quite quickly and crazily. So the link that I'm putting at the top of the show notes, all you need to do is click on it. What's going to come up is a text message, and you're going to see that there's something pre-populated in the text message you're going to send to me, and it's the word Instagram. It's just what I typically use when I'm promoting this on Instagram. All you need to do is hit send, and you're automatically going to get a message back from me that tells you that you're signed up, and you're going to be getting the free daily texts, anti-drift support. And when it's time for the masterclass, you will be notified of that because I'll be sending you the text, giving you the heads up. Click on the link at the top of the show notes for that.